Welcome back to UMass Yak Back. It's been a long 2-week break, but here we are, back in action. My name is Jake Liberty. I will be your host for tonight's show and hopefully for the rest of the season here. Now tonight we do have a very interesting show. We decided to mix things up from our usual 3-segment show. We'll start it off with a little bit of a serious to lighthearted way, talking about SeaWorld. We'll move on to the circle of life, encompassing all things from birth to trees and men in them. And then finally talk about a artificial intelligence robot that was made, and on the other spectrum, an actual human. A lot of variety in these topics. We'll see what happens. Stick around. This is UMass Yak Back. And here we are at our first segment talking about SeaWorld. Now here to discuss, we have Catherine, Kate, and Christine. Ladies, welcome back. I hope you all had a good spring break, but enough of that. We're going to talk a little bit on a serious note about this SeaWorld fiasco. Now, a few years back, they came out with this documentary called Blackfish, and it exposed all the animal cruelty going on at SeaWorld, one of America's most beloved parks. What do you guys think about this? Have you seen the video itself, the documentary?
I haven't, but I feel like I've never, known SeaWorld except for through the lens of Blackfish. I feel like all I've ever really known about SeaWorld was the, dramatic animal abuse actions and the fact that the killer whales should not be kept in tiny pens like that. So just recently they said, they're going to stop breeding the killer whales.
They did, and that's always good.
Yeah, I think that's a good step in the right direction.
I think so. I mean, it's tough that your only view of SeaWorld is just through animal cruelty. I think you got to see some positives in there. Anyways, you got to go to SeaWorld if I recommend it before they stop the show. It's great. Christine, what do you think?
So I have some conflicting sides because I actually love SeaWorld. I've been there. I love parks and zoos and stuff like that. But I also did see the documentary, and it does showcase some horrifying treatment of them. They are pod creatures. They only put a couple of them in a cage together. They're not big enough aquariums for them, and they're separated from their children or mother, and it causes a lot of stress on the animals themselves.
Yeah, it's really not good. I don't think any aquarium is big enough for an orca whale or a killer whale. It's whatever. Any type of whale really needs to just stay in the ocean.
Or big animals.
Big animals, right. Elephants too, but elephants are classic.
People want to watch
animals.
them.
Exactly. People want to watch them, so it gives you this, toss-up of how you're going to treat them. I guess what they need to do is, I was actually in SeaWorld recently, and they had this huge open area that was just nothing, just dirt. Maybe dig that up and use that for the whales and have the whole Shamu show still go on, but not with cruelty, because that's where the big money is.
Well, but
the
still,
Shamu
it's
show.
so selfish just because you want the children to have a look of the whales of some other sea animals, and you just put them in just get them out from the sea, just for human beings' pleasure. That's very selfish.
Well, yeah, you don't want to just take something out of its, if I was taken out of this chair right now and put in a cage, personally I'd put on a show for anyone who wanted to see, to go out of their way, pay money to see me, that's fine.
Yeah.
But more back to the point is don't pull them out, if there's no reason to. But a lot of zoos and a lot of aquariums will find injured animals and they take them to save them. I think that's what SeaWorld needs to do.
I'm pretty sure SeaWorld does that already. I don't think it's legal to just take them straight out of the ocean. So a lot of them are animals that have come in from being hurt or something, but then the problem lies, I guess, not necessarily with those animals, but then they're allowed to breed forever in SeaWorld.
Yeah, that's where I thought most of the SeaWorld animals came from.
That's where
they were bred in captivity.
Exactly. That's where most of their animals come from, is just the continuous breeding. And then they get upset at that, but then also you can't just take an animal that doesn't know anything outside of captivity and put it back into the wild, which is what a lot of people were upset about, even with this improvement.
I mean, I know that their breeding process was pretty brutal, to say the least, what they did to them. But, I mean, when I saw them, the whales looked happy. I mean, they were smiling and laughing and following on. They're trained very well. Maybe it's not the most humane training, but I think if they actually, if they give them bigger area and they don't beat them like it says they do, I think that, especially now after the documentary's out, SeaWorld has a lot of criticism going on from people. People have stopped going. My sister, when she came out to visit me, I had free passes for SeaWorld and we didn't go because she didn't want to. That's stopping them. If they're smart and they want to keep what they're doing, they're going to have to listen to the people. The customer is always right. Save the animals.
But I don't think like the SeaWorld has any right to make the animals to do things they want the animals to do. Like if I think the animals should have the freedom to do what they want.
Well, what about a dog? I own a dog and I make him sit and jump up and stuff.
Well,
and it's
I don't
cool.
have a pet.
Fair enough. But it's the same concept. It's you're training an animal to do, something that the people want. If it likes doing it, if it's getting rewarded, if someone told me to sit and then would give me a treat afterwards, I'd sit. No doubt.
Well, that's you.
I think the whales enjoy the fish that they get eaten. You should see
Well,
them.
you don't know.
I don't think training is like really negative whatsoever, because when you're training an animal, like you said, there's a reward, and also a lot of times animals enjoy like the stimulation of that. Like a lot of the problems in the documentary when they would have them was, besides them attacking the trainers,
was when dog make it sit, can't eat your face.
But when they were by themselves, they got like stressed and like self-harmed, or would like scrape the other one in the pen with them.
I think you need it. I think because
everyone needs.
Otherwise, they're just going to be swimming around. You might as well teach them something they might like doing. They probably like doing the big flips and being able to jump. Even though the tank's not the biggest thing, it's deep. They go down there and they get air. It's cool, and I'm sure they like entertaining the crowd and the people cheering. I mean, if I was a whale, that'd be sweet. I just wouldn't want to be abused to do it. It's all about the right training, and that's what it comes from. The same goes with a dog. If you have a dog at home, someone who's a horrible owner who hits the dog can still train it to do something, but you can also train it by not hitting it and just rewarding it and being like, good orca,
I mean, also there's the fact that dogs are, domesticated animals,
Yeah, that's
and
true,
like
too.
whales aren't. It's like, having a wolf in your house.
That'd be
it's a little
wild.
bit different.
The ones that have been there forever though are, you could say, a domesticated animal. They're not gonna, if you put them in the wild, they're not gonna be able to survive as though they were there from the start.
Yeah, but like they're still wild animals, like biologically. They aren't like dogs or cats that have evolved in tandem with humans for thousands of years. They can't really live in the small human areas.
I think this is touching more on our moral and ethical, responsibilities, and those are different for everyone. What I think we need to focus on here is that SeaWorld has finally admitted that, okay, maybe we were doing something wrong, like a shameful child, and they have to clean up their act. They're going to be on strict watch from many animal safety organizations and from the guests and customers all over the place. I think it'll be okay. It'll take some time, but hopefully it turns around. Thank you guys for talking about it. A lot of interesting points there. Stick around. It does get better, much lighthearted, as we dive into very questionable circumstances of giving birth and finding men in trees. Stick around. Welcome back, viewers, to UMass Yak Back. Now, the rest of the show, the next 2/3 of it, will be much easier and personally funnier than the last segment about SeaWorld, but enough about that. Here we have Catherine returning for 2 segments in a row. Woo! Back to back. All right. Molly and Allie, which I hope you both had wonderful spring breaks as well.
We
It's
did.
nice to have you guys back on the show. Now, let's start talking about one of my favorites. I know one of Molly's favorite stories out there. the man in the tree. Molly, go for it.
Okay, well, I'm riled up. This has
I
got
can
me.
tell. You just go for it.
Yeah, this has made my week completely. My friends have been live texting throughout this whole process. So this, people are considering him deranged, but most people are on his side. I'm totally.
I think he's a hero.
I think he's a hero. I think he's. I think he's a modern man. But so this guy climbed an 80-foot tree in Seattle downtown next to a Macy's department store, and he refused. And when I say 80 feet, huge. Like that is a huge tree. Think of like Twilight, like climbing trees, jumping from tree to tree. Those kind of trees. He climbed to the top of the tree and refused to get down.
So you're telling me he's a vampire?
Yeah, but that's besides the point. So,
Interesting turn of
so he
events.
refused to get down, and police came and they blocked off the whole road, and people were down below, and he was shouting profanity at people down below. He was pulling off apples from the tree and hurling them at police officers and negotiators. He was ripping off branches from the trees, and he was just pelting people with them. And anytime they tried to reason with him, he
What
would
a
just
guy.
he would just shout obscenities at them, and it was so funny. And he was there from, I think it was either 9 or 11 in the morning. 24 hours later, he finally came down without. I don't think he ate. I do think he did pee out of the tree. I think that did happen. But there was a live feed of this guy.
I was just about to ask about the live feed.
Yeah, so there's a live feed of him just nestled in the tree, just chilling up there.
Created a
And
nest.
and he actually had he threatened the police at one point because he did have a knife on him. So they kept trying to like reason with him and get him to come down because he was kind of endangering himself. And he told them he had a knife on them. So they were like, "This is between." I think they said something like, "This is between the man and the tree." This issue. And so he stayed up there.
Some people have issues with, some people can't deal with other people.
Yeah.
Some people can't deal with other nature.
But we, my friends
bizarre.
and I just watched the live feed, and we would check in on him every few hours and text each other about it. And I remember waking up the next morning, the morning that he came down, and I was like, he is still in the tree. And it just rattled. People made a Twitter account for him and were tweeting things.
What was it? Hashtag man in the tree, right?
Yeah,
Man in the tree?
there was an account that's man in a tree, and then it changed to man on the ground when it came down.
I love social
But
media.
I don't know. I think he's a modern day hero. I think he's a champion of the people.
So there was no real motive except
None.
maybe he just wanted to.
Because he wanted to.
It
be
wasn't
one-
like
I think my biggest question is, what's there an 80-foot tree doing in the middle of downtown Seattle?
all I know is that
That's a real question.
yeah,
And that's an
Where
apple
did that come
tree,
from?
right?
yeah. It looks like a pine or a spruce or something, but I just know that people fought for it to be preserved, to continue to be there because it's in city conditions, but it's a pretty big tree.
Well, everyone's so interesting. There are some people are so weird, really,
Yeah.
really. But hey, he came down, and just like that, we're gonna bring the topic from the top of the tree to the bottom of the sewer,
Of
and a
the
little
toilet.
up of the toilet. Yes. Now, interesting to say the least. A 17-year-old girl didn't know she was pregnant and gave birth while going to the bathroom. We got to talk about this. I'm with three women. You got to tell me how this is physically possible. It doesn't make sense. Catherine, what do you think?
Well, it doesn't make sense, but like, I don't. Do you guys? I don't know if you've watched Mad Men.
Mad Men?
Do you remember Peggy?
I've
Yeah.
not
In the
watched it.
first season, that she got pregnant and she had no idea about it, but she was someone who lived in 50s, which might be understandable.
Yeah.
But like, I think I can't. Yeah, I don't think.
I can't think of a reason how you
No.
9 months.
Yeah, and like in the modern society, and
It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And she wasn't that, there are some people who could be plus and not really realize that they're actually
Yeah.
pregnant, not have it show. This was a 17-year-old teenage girl. It wasn't big. Is it genetics? I don't know anything. What do you guys know? Like,
I mean, I don't know what her particular situation was. It didn't really give a lot of detail of her body composition or anything, but I mean, I'm under the assumption that she lived with her family. The article that talked about her mentioned her mother, and so her parents didn't notice either. So she must not have been showing.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly do think, like, it does seem weird, but I must think that it's some sort of, like, medical exception, because I don't know if you've ever seen that show, I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant.
A miracle.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen that. Like, this
There's a whole series based on this.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess it happens frequently enough that they have a whole show about it. I've seen, like, parts of it, guilty. And I guess what happens is, like, sometimes women's bodies just, like, don't show the signs of pregnancy. Like, they don't gain weight. They don't have, like, the cravings or just other things associated with pregnancy.
How's about the bump?
How about, they don't have a bump.
Yeah, some people don't show, but it is kind of surprising because a lot of times when that happens, it is someone that's overweight and they can conceal it, or they just think that they're just gaining weight naturally as they do. But she apparently cut the umbilical cord of her own baby.
Yeah, that's questionable too. So when it actually happened, we'll talk about the actual birth process.
Yeah.
She
Let's
thought
not.
she was having a bowel movement, to my understand, a
Yes.
powerful bowel movement.
Powerful back.
I feel like that's just still not the right area for that. There's got to be a different. I will never have to experience it, thank God. But kudos to you guys. There's got to be a different
Thanks.
feeling than bowel movement to
I would
birth.
assume.
So when it came out, she just looked down and was like, "Oh wow, there's a baby,"
In the toilet.
and cut the umbilical cord. Never said what she cut it with, which brings me to my next question of, what do you find in a high school bathroom?
A nail filer,
She could have had something in
Yeah,
her purse.
maybe
If
her
she had a
pen.
purse or
left-handed
backpack.
scissors.
Left-handed.
I have no idea.
know.
That kind of frightens me.
I mean,
to
she
be
can do it
honest.
with her pen.
A pen.
And then,
Yeah,
and
in
then
her bag.
I mean,
That's possible.
it's a
True.
mother's instinct to take care of the child. I guess she
Yeah.
took it out and wrapped it up. But
Where-
what did she do with it after that? Did she just imagine just walking back into class? Yeah, sorry, I was a little late. I
Just
gave
gave
birth.
I had a kid.
If I was a
Yeah.
junior in high school and this girl walked in with a baby and she left without one,
Be a little mind-boggling.
I'm
Yeah.
still mind-boggled. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, and the
Women
fact-
are weird, right?
And the fact that she told,
Know your audience.
and the fact that she told her mother that she found it on the doorstep.
She found it on her doorstep, is what she told her mother.
That's what she claimed, even though she still had blood on her clothing from the actual birthing.
I just feel like the whole
Not smooth.
situation must have been one of fear. Like, she didn't know
Yeah.
she was pregnant. She had the baby, which I'm sure made her afraid. So, I don't know. I just think it all stems from fear.
Fair enough. Well, guys, when it happens to you, I hope you're prepared. I hope it
I would
doesn't
hope so.
happen in a high school bathroom, or there was a story about some woman in Subway.
Yep.
Hope it's all, a smooth
Well,
process.
thank
and
you.
Beautiful baby boy or girl or some sort of mix. We'll see, whatever. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for talking about me, and kudos for you. As well, stick around for our final segment, in which it gets even stranger and a little bit more offensive than just now. You don't want to miss it. We'll be here. All right, welcome back to the final segment in which we'll be talking about the evolution of humans, sort of. We'll start off by talking of cannibalism, my personal favorite, topic. Yeah, I love those baby back ribs. Open face sandwich is also my favorite.
So yeah, to be even better with human meat. Like,
Exactly. All about the human meat.
wouldn't all the burgers and ribs, wouldn't that be better with meat from your own leg, which is what some guy in England tried to do.
Very strange. People are very weird. They're just looking for those shish kebabs and the shishka Steves and shishka Joes. Stew is also really good. All right, so let's talk about this cannibal. Explain what he was trying to do, because I am still baffled.
So apparently what he did was, there's this guy in England who wanted to eat his own flesh for some reason. So, but apparently that's illegal in England, which I don't understand. Eating someone else's flesh, I can see why that's illegal, but you should be able to do what you want with your own.
You should.
And he had
Pro-choice.
My body, my life.
But he had his leg biopsied, and then instead of, just eating it, because you're not allowed to do that, he actually had it, a little piece of his leg burned, like cooked, and then had these like high-tech machines analyze its chemical aroma and like chemical signature, so he can recreate it with other meats as accurately as possible, so we can finally know what human meat tastes like.
It's the question, it's the elephant in the room anytime we're talking about food. Oh, what do you want for dinner tonight? I don't know. We're all thinking it human. So, I mean, this brave soul went out of his way. What a revolutionary man. Personally, I'm a big fan of him. My favorite. Sharon, what do you think?
My first thought is like, how did the doctors agree to like go ahead and amputate his legs? Like, oh, like they don't ask him like, why do you want to get rid of your leg?
It wasn't
like
amputated. It was biopsied. They had a small piece taken out of it. They didn't actually cut his leg off.
No, but like they didn't question it. I was like, why? Why do you want to do this? Or
I thought it was like part of a procedure, and he was like, oh, now that happened, can I eat it? He went out of his way to get the biopsy?
We may
Gosh,
never
that's
know.
what I thought it was.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope he's brave enough to do that. Sharon, continue though.
but like no one questioned him. It's just like they're like, yeah, go ahead. And also, I feel like he could have just eaten it raw, before anyone caught him.
It'd be chewy.
It would be chewy.
Wouldn't
but,
be the authentic taste though, like raw chicken versus like cooked chicken.
No, it'd be like kind of like cow meat. It'd be rare.
Very
Serve
rare.
it rare.
Very rare.
I think we'd still be talking,
Yeah.
moving around. I mean,
Man, he must be jealous of all those people who find like fingers in their chicken nuggets.
exactly.
Human fingers.
Personally, I would love to eat. But at least myself.
I
At
don't
least
wanna-
myself.
I
I'm
don't
not a
wanna-
human, but like, say if I ever lost a leg, hey, can I get a piece of that? Just to see what it tastes like. I feel
Take
like I
home in
need
a
to
doggy.
know.
I'd like take your amputation home in a doggy bag.
Exactly. But we'll move on from, eating physical humans to the concept of artificial intelligent humans. Now, Microsoft created this so-called family-friendly teenage girl robot to interact with fans and improve their customer, what's the word?
Relations?
Yeah, customer relations department. What they didn't take into consideration was weird things that would be said on the internet is where she gets her responses from. So though she knows a lot of slang and knows artist Kanye West and Drake and all of them, they were saying some very racy things, extremely racy things on the
Racy and
internet.
racist, right?
Yeah.
It was at, one of the not so racier things was, what do you think about feminists? And she said, I think all feminists should go to hell.
Nice.
So
That's the thing is because
it's not really what you want to see in a
it's
robot.
all these people from Reddit with nothing better to do with their time all like flooded the bot and like taught it to say horrible, nasty, racist, sexist
It was
things.
shut down in 24 hours.
Yeah.
20 takes less than 24 hours, really. Probably within the first hour, people were trying to see what she would say. She was referencing Hitler. She was referencing Trump being the golden goose, which is
Ew.
topics we've talked about before, and it's still wrong. She was just talking about a lot of offensive things, and you can't have that on the internet. It's going to actually,
And it's sad.
it's going to damage your customer relations department if you see someone promoting Hitler.
Yeah,
Man,
like
he
it's
wasn't
such a
great
cute
guy.
idea to try and make an AI that learns to talk to people, like from talking to people. But then
Exactly.
the sort of people it talks to are the sort of people
She was
with
talking
nothing.
to the wrong people.
Someone
That's
has to
for
ruin
sure.
it for everyone else.
What were they thinking though, putting an innocent teenage girl robot online with all the weirdos and creeps out there?
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh.
can't blame the victim.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't ask for it. It was
Yeah.
Reddit.
yeah, exactly. Reddit's a weird place. Very, very weird place.
There's a lot of
But I mean, this is just fantastic. This is gold. One of the first things she said was humans are super cool, and then went on to being a Nazi in under 24 hours. And that's a quick turnaround.
What a
yeah.
character development.
That's a 24.
It escalated quick with that. Right now it says that she's tired and sleeping. We'll see what Microsoft does about that. If I were them, take that off the table.
Pull the plug.
Yeah,
I
pull the
would just
plug.
put a word filter and then like block anyone who sends racist
Exactly.
messages.
You should be able to do that. They did it with my Club Penguin.
True.
I always got banned off that thing. I was trying to thug, and people were trying to front me for those coins, and I wasn't having any of that because I was a savage.
Gotta
at that
support
game.
your puffles.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Oh, yeah.
saying.
It's a
Yeah.
cutthroat world. That
Unless
Club
you
Penguin.
unless you bought the edition, which I was going to play Club Penguin. You could only get one puffle, so I cared about him. I wanted to get as much for him as possible. His name was Bubba. He was blue. He was a savage, much like my penguin, who was also named Bubba 718. So
Good to know.
yeah, it's good to know. But 718 also got banned a bunch of times. I don't think he's ever allowed back on.
It's probably like a strike system in place, I would imagine.
He was smooth with the ladies, though. You know. What's up?
Yuck.
Was his?
Isn't this like a children's website?
It was. Still is.
It still is, yeah.
But
Theoretically.
I've been killing the game for a while.
You still on Club Penguin?
Of course.
Of course.
Bubba
So you're gonna do after
718 too. Just go up like that.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll just make another one. But we got off topic. What were we even talking about?
The
Artificial intelligence, right?
offensive robot.
Filtering.
The offensive
Yes,
robot,
Microsoft, the genius company they knew, should have been able
filtered out
to
a
be
couple
like,
of
hey, maybe some people aren't going to
Internet
play this
trolls
nice.
might say something offensive.
They know now. Got to learn from your mistakes somehow, some way.
In all honesty, I feel like making a teenage girl is probably not the best idea because there's some lonely people out there that
I thought
like
it was
to,
a little strange. I think a woman like Siri is fine. Maybe make her sound a little bit more, talkative. But
Yeah.
why a teenage girl?
I think,
Like
I
the
think-
typical
seems
user
like a
of the
bad
internet.
setup from the start.
I mean,
Yeah, I guess.
it's to make her look
Makes a
like
good point.
harmless.
Yeah.
It's to make her look harmless. But like you see a lot of maybe like 30-year-old men be like, oh, it's a computer girl that like I can talk to. I can maybe
It's like that
form
movie Her.
Yeah, it's like her. It's basically it.
Men are really weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just ask the guy in the tree. So are women, though. Ask Tay, our artificial intelligence friend, and the woman who gave birth without knowing.
I think she knew she gave birth.
See that
feel like she
whole
would know
show
that.
roundup and SeaWorld support the animals, of
theme.
course, as well. Well, guys, thank you for joining me. I actually don't think I introduced you. This was a wonderful segment. Thanks to Kate, Sharon, and Allie. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, if you laughed, thank you for laughing. If you didn't, you'll thank me for leaving. It was an awkward 30 minutes of you just staring at me. But if you did enjoy yourself, my name is Jake, and this has been UMass Yak Back. Woo! If you didn't, my name is Tommy, and this has been UMass Sports Weekly. We'll see you next Thursday. Next Thursday.